Well, Pacelli and Boomer, they're grizzled and gray, talking about Star Wars from back in the day. Got a talk show called Geeky Geezers, it's true, spinning old tales about the stuff they went through. From Atari to Shrek, they know every line. Geeky Geezers, man, they're feeling just fine. Pacelli's got a lightsaber, swings it with pride. Boomer's got a game, but plays it deep in the night. They're ranting about He-Man and old X-Men too. On Geeky Geezers, they're the nerdiest crew, talking Transformers toys, they twist and they turn, singing blues for the geek life, their hearts still burn. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're sitting in the studio, mics turned up loud, reminiscing about Super Friends, feeling so proud. Pacelli loves Spider-Man, Boomer's for Hulk. They argue about Star Trek with passion and both. From Betamax tapes to their old D20s, Geeky Geezers where the nostalgia flows. They got fans in the chat, from the young to the old, tuning in to hear stories that never get told. Talking Ghostbusters, Proton Packs, Toys in the Box, and Saturday mornings with cartoons that rocks. Pacelli and Boomer, they're keeping it real. Geeky Geezers with that old school feel. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're singing the blues for the games that they play, for the VHS tapes and the arcades that pray. But the spirits are young, though their hair's turning white. Geeky Geezers keep the nerd fire alight, so tune in each week to the Geeky Geezers show, where Pacelli and Boomer let the good times flow. From X-Files to X-Men, they're dropping the news, singing praises of geek life with them old blues. Pacelli and Boomer, forever they'll be. Geeky Geezers living wild and free.
Prize for later.
Hello everyone, welcome to Geeky Geezers. Today's date is July 26th of 2026. I'm your host, Aged Boomer. This is my co-host, Pacelli.
Hello, hello.
This is my other co-host, Netter of Netters Network, also known as the Geezette. How's everyone doing tonight?
We are doing very, very well. Thank you for asking. What a great weekend it's been. And I expect it to be a really, really awesome week.
Should have given Netter a chance to say hi. Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening, yes. I'm just discombobulated, but we do have a thank you. Hello, Geezer friends from Big Al. Good to see you, Big Al. Big Al Presents. Be sure to check out his channel. Ruby Hoove. Oh, well. You know what time it is, don't you?
Yeah, well, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Ruby Hoo, you're a gem shining through. Every kindness, every gift makes the whole world sparkle new. Ruby Hoo, thank you.
Yes, indeed. Hello, and thank you so much, Ruby Hoo, for a gifted membership on both my channel and Netter's. And I'll tell you what, guys, you would be able to give gifties on this channel, on Aged Boomer's channel, if we could get him to 500 subscribers. Guys, we only have a handful of days before the end of the month. We need to get how many more?
121.
121 more subscriptions for Aged Boomer. So please, I know actually everybody that's already here is already subscribed to Aged Boomer, but please share out his channel on the socials. We are going to do this one way or the other. So please be a part of that. Please help us get Aged Boomer to that coveted 500 subscribers. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And also make sure, if you think you're subscribed, make sure you are subscribed, as sometimes we find that you're not. You can find that you're not.
Absolutely.
Netter of Netters Network, hi, sweetie, thank you. And let me see here. And of course, you can become a member on either Troy's or Netter's channels. You get nice perks with those as well. So think about that.
Probably the best perk one would think is that you help us to continue to do what we do here so we can continue to bring you the shows that you keep coming back for and seem to enjoy.
Deleted Scenes, welcome. He just got finished with his unscripted.
Salute to you, my friend.
And Midnight's Edge After Dark. Wow.
Tom Connors, welcome, who is probably going to be joining us on Last Call this Friday what are we going to be doing on Last Call this Friday? Age of Boomer.
Karaoke.
He says, I want an Okie. He says, I want an Okie. And I'm like, I'll send you the link, my friend.
Okie dokie. Okay. Okie dokie karaoke, you should just say.
I like that. Okay, between the two of you, I will credit both you and Tom Connors for Okie dokie karaoke.
Okie dokie karaoke, yeah, there we go. Ruby Hoof says hello. Oh, thank you.
Yep.
And we got some stories to talk about tonight. And, well, no good old days tonight. Don't be upset, because we have a lot of news to cover.
Oh, I was trying to bring her up. Connie Cleary, too.
Okay,
just
welcome,
wanted to say hi to the bird woman of YouTube as well.
Yes.
But yeah, let's go ahead and get to it.
Yes, let's just get into the news.
Because we got a lot of them. We actually had to be judicious in what we decided to talk about this week.
I wasn't.
You didn't care. It's like, screw that one.
No, I'm doing it. Actually, there was one story I cut. That's right. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do it. That was the one where it came out where they think that Sony put a gag order on people even who worked for them even talking about the recent all digital move publicly. But
oh yeah,
I don't know if I even trust the source on that. So we'll just hold off on that one for a bit.
Yeah, I mean there are times we'll bring you rumors, but very rarely, just because we find them intriguing and we want to see how they play out. But we're always very careful to make sure that you understand we are talking rumors, but by and large, we cite our sources and try to bring you actual news.
All right. Moving on to... What is this? Just 7 PlayStation games have sold more than 100,000 copies in the United States so far this year. Do you hear that?
Yes.
Amid the backlash to Sony's decision to end production of discs for new PlayStation games from 2028, data for game sales in the United States show the dominance of digital in stark terms. On July 1st, Sony shocked the video game world when we already know the story. They were going to go all digital starting.
We've talked about this a whole lot over the past couple weeks.
I'm not going to reiterate the story, even though it's in detail in the article, though, if you click on the link. Since the announcement, though, that they would go all digital and stop producing discs, gamers have called on Sony to U-turn on its decision, signing online petitions and swarming over PlayStation's social media posts to express concern about video game preservation and ownership, even overshadowing the release of new games that have nothing to do with what's going on at Sony. You mean from all those independent companies and third parties that pay Sony money to advertise their games on their platform, and then all the responses are angry Sony rants from... It's not good advertising, is it? But that's a story for another time.
I'll get to it on a future article. But what I do want to bring up too is we are going to talk about this in way more detail a week from this Friday. I'm working to put together a number of guests for Last Call. It's going to be focused on physical media and the future of it. I have guests lined up that I would consider to be subject matter experts in the physical media of film, gaming, and music. Trying to get that lined up. And by the way, Tom Connors, Midnight's Edge After Dark, if you're still here and you want to join us a week from Friday as well, I'd love to have you on that physical media stream as well. I'll talk to you about it offline. But welcome, Zetopia. Good to see you, my friend.
Anyway. Oh, isn't that weird? Isn't it lovely at night? The background goes dark on Word. Okay. But through it all, analysts have insisted that there is zero chance that Sony will change its mind. And while there is plenty of debate about the motivation behind Sony's decision, one analyst has laid out the stats that may underpin it. In a social media post, Matt Piscatella, Senior Director and Video Game Industry Advisor at Circana, confirmed that just 7 PlayStation video games sold more than 100,000 physical units so far this year in the United States. Only 2 PlayStation video games sold more than 10,000 units in the United States during the week of July 11th. It's a shockingly low volume of physical PlayStation game sales that hammers home the point that digital overwhelmingly dominates the market. But it's worth pointing out that this is U.S. data only and does not include sales from other markets such as Europe. Okay. So I think now we have the evidence that digital just doesn't sell. And, we can't really blame Sony for going all digital. And I think I owe them an apology.
Okay.
From ranting about them.
I know you're being tongue in cheek, but let's.
There are shills out there for using this now as an excuse.
Yeah.
This was inevitable, and you guys need to stop yelling at Sony for doing what they have to do. I've seen it online, yes.
Yeah, I want to say that a great deal of this is gaslighting. It is. Look, I don't think people understand this. I think the main body of consumers are starting to understand that they can't rely on critics, professional critics. They can't rely on the news media anymore. They certainly can't rely on business representatives and politicians, to be honest with them. But they're starting to see more and more that the institutions that they used to believe they could trust, they can't anymore. And this is the tactic. If you can get one mainstream media outlet to say something that's, I'm going to be generous and say gilding the lily, they're really lying, gaslighting, but misrepresenting statistics and so forth. They get a headline out there and then everyone else can run with it and they can push an agenda. They do it all the time. Most of the people here in our audience are already keen to that. They already understand that. But I think the greater public is starting to realize that too. And I think this is a perfect example. As you see Sony and the other game companies and movie companies and so forth putting out less and less physical media, of course the number of physical media being purchased is going to be less because there's less of it available. What they're not telling you is how many people are taking to the high seas, grabbing a hold of stuff and making their own physical media.
Well, I also want to bring up another point, though. More than 100,000 physical copies. I think a lot of games don't get more than 100,000 physical discs made, and I think they come out in limited supply, and the ones that want the physical buy right up. The people that wait, they can't get their physical copy, and so I might as well just get it digitally because I can't get a physical. I think that's what's going on. I don't think they're making over 100,000 physical discs for an individual game
That's
anymore.
An excellent point, because if we were being truly honest in this article, given that fact, you would look at what is the secondary market for physical media. People paying 2, 3, 4 times as much for the physical disc that they couldn't get at retail.
Yeah. And I think it was a real problem. I think with that, I keep forgetting the name of that Capcom title with the Android girl. But the people said they were having trouble finding that physically.
Oh, you mean
they had to? Yeah.
Oh, gee, I got it right on my
It's okay. I should have looked it up.
My desktop. Pragmata.
Yeah. From what I heard, people actually were trying to seek out physical copies of Pragmata. They couldn't find them, so they shrugged their shoulders and they ended up getting the digital version.
And one could argue that I'm part of the problem, right? Because I have a digital copy, not a physical copy. Why is that? Because I got it for free. I literally got it for free as a promotion when I bought my new computer. And of all the games that were available to me, it was the only one I was even halfway interested in. And I had no plans to buy it originally. So I did,
No, but that's a good freebie. And greetings, everyone. Just about to head to work. Also, Matt Tracker from Mask Black Comics. Okay. Welcome, Sashi, our man from the future.
But just like you have so many streaming services who say, look at how many people have our streaming service, without pointing out what the percentage of those people are that have it, not because they chose to, not because they sought it out, but because it came as part of a bundle. And so they're effectively getting it for free, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing here. I'll bet you that they're looking at the number of digitals that are out there at almost no cost or no cost and saying, look how successful this is. And I haven't even played Pragmata yet. I haven't even played it because just like I've said very many times about putting a nominal fee on something to give it value, I talked about in the waning days of physical newspapers. You know, when you'd go to the store on your way, you'd stop at the bus stop on your way to work, and you would pick up the physical newspaper to read that day. You'd go and you'd drop off a dime, a quarter, $1.25, and that money you were paying was not paying for that newspaper. That newspaper was already paid for by all the ads in it. It was so that you wouldn't go and just pick up a scoop of them, you know, and walk off because, oh, it's just free to me, and go line your cat litter box with it. You would have assumed value because you literally had to spend money to get the thing, you know, and that's, I think, the situation we're running into with some of this free download. I got a ton of free, in quotes, free downloads of games that I don't own, and I don't care because I got it for $0.
Gotcha.
You know?
And this was a funny story. If you had wanted to get a digital game this weekend, you might have been out of luck, though. PlayStation Network outage hits thousands of gamers worldwide. Did you hear about this?
Guys, here's the problem. This is what I've said all along. Not only do you not own that thing because it resides out there on the cloud and they can take it away from you anytime they want, they can change it anytime they want, you also can't play it if the internet goes out. And when I say internet, I don't just mean your internet, I mean Microsoft. Netter, tell them about the problem without doxing the company you work for.
Yeah, my company uses Microsoft products, and we had major issues with trying to get even our storefront done because we're doing an e-commerce launch, and well, actually it launched Friday, but because Microsoft was kind of foobar, we couldn't get a lot of our stuff working in order to get the launch to work properly, get the, to test the products and all that. It was really messed up. I couldn't get into programs to check on orders for customers who sent us Salesforce cases saying, I can't access my product. Can you tell us what's going on? And I'm trying to get into my Microsoft Excel spreadsheets to see if they, were recently paid or were recently added, because these are shared documents, and couldn't get into them. Couldn't get into Word docs, couldn't get into anything that was Microsoft related. Microsoft Outlook, which my company uses, I could not access any of my emails. It was totally foobar.
And we're talking about things that should be resident on her hard drive. But because of the way her network is set up and it's mandated by her company, that's not how it is. She has to have access to OneDrive. She has to have access to Microsoft, whatever. And that is a serious problem. I mean, that is, and I've gone to this, I've talked about this before, when I said we went to the store one time when the electricity in our town was out and they couldn't do business because no electricity, so we can't work the cash registers, we can't run the credit cards and this and that. Whereas there were a number of mom and pop shops that were like, if you're paying cash, or you're willing to take the time and let us do the old-fashioned click, with the credit cards to submit later, we can do this.
Yeah, if those of you, you youngins ain't gonna know this.
Right.
But back in the day, there was this machine. It was called an imprint machine.
Yep.
And they would put down a credit card slip that was that had carbon copies. So it was basically the credit card slip, a carbon sheet, and then another paper underneath. So, and then they put your credit card on top, and they'd run this roller over top really hard.
Which takes the impression of the credit card number and expiration date and stuff.
And your name.
And then you have to sign it, and you have multiple copies. You get a copy, they get a copy.
Yeah.
They send a copy to
The credit
the
card
credit
company.
card company. And it was a process. And I swear that when credit cards first started, everyone was like, oh crap, the guy in front of me has a credit card. This is going to be forever. Now it's the opposite. Now if you're not paying with a card and you're paying cash, oh great, they're paying cash. Now I got to wait for them to count out the
Well,
change.
it's like when people used to pay with checks, and it's like they're paying with the check. It's going to take them forever to do this. And when I used to pay with checks, I would have everything filled out except for my signature and the amount, because I wasn't going to sign a blank check. So when I got to register, it's like, how much? Put in the amount, sign my name, tear it out, here you go. Because I didn't want to be one of those people that people were groaning about.
I remember having to call to get authorization from sales over a certain dollar amount back in the day. Yeah, that was exactly it. You just assume that under a certain dollar value, you take the risk, you submit it later. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly right.
Yeah, you had to do the authorization code and all that.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
And David, I'm sorry, I'm not. It didn't come through. It's not even in the studio, so didn't see your comment about Resident Evil.
I did want to bring up.
Oh no, I'm sorry, that was Sashi. So I may have been looking at the wrong person.
I do want to bring up Nate's comment here, though, even though it's about the last article. Sad fulfilling prophecy of low stock. You hit a very real dynamic because digital sales have ballooned to roughly 80% to 85% of the market. Retailers have aggressively cut back shelf space, and many consumers can't find physical copies locally.
Right. This creates a loop. Publishers print fewer discs because retail footprint is shrinking, which makes physical games harder to find, which accelerates the shift to digital. And it's all by design. They are aware of this. Don't think they're not aware of this.
Awful. Anyway, I did want to bring up, though, that the PlayStation Network was down. This has happened. This happens at least once, twice, 3 times a year. I don't usually bring it up because I haven't really had a reason to really be attacking Sony, at least on this front, until recently. But they've gotten hacked before. They're very prone to getting their services hacked and knocked down, usually by Lizard Squad, which is a group of hackers that mess with PlayStation. You may have or have not heard of them.
I haven't, but power to the people.
Well, I don't know. They just, I won't go that far, but maybe now it would be. But earlier today, a massive PlayStation outage took services offline for thousands of gamers worldwide, leaving them unable to set their accounts. Per reports on social media, this impacted the PlayStation Store, downloaded games, and any games that require a PlayStation Network connection. Hold the phone.
Yeah.
If I have my game downloaded on my system, I should not even need a PlayStation Network connection to play it. It's on my hard drive.
That's exactly what I was. That's exactly what I was saying. And on any of the old games, if you had the physical media and the internet was out, you wouldn't even know it.
I don't know how things operate on PlayStation 5.
I could see myself playing a game and Netter's coming in and saying, "Hey, is the internet out?" I have no idea. I'm playing, a Baldur's Gate 3 or something, or whatever,
Yes, I this future. Okay. Anyway, today, placing the global outage affecting many users and services.
Mm-hmm.
So PlayStation didn't directly address the outage, nor did the status page reflect any issues. Many thousands of gamers flooded social media with complaints and went to platforms like Down Detect to report problems. They didn't. Why would they address it? It's an inconvenience for the customers, but why would they reach out? I was watching again Michael's video from when all this started, and he had made a point that I didn't realize this, but apparently the previous head of PlayStation thinks what they're doing, as far as the switch to all digital, is a bad move. Even the previous head was mentioning that. So
yes.
I thought that's interesting. And I noticed with them and even Nintendo, you get new people in charge, and suddenly everything's gone to crap.
Well, you get dumb, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be blunt. You get dumb, inexperienced kids who come in with all sorts of great ideas, which in and of itself is not a bad thing, but it needs to be tempered with wisdom. I'm always talking about zeal without wisdom. And that's what happens when you put these kids in charge and they do whatever they want, and they end up making the same mistakes that the wiser people knew was a bad idea a long time ago, because they already learned from the school of hard knocks. Don't make the same mistakes over again, but when you get rid of the wisdom, that's exactly what's going to happen. social Marxists, just saying.
Moving on to Ubi. Speaking of which,
Yes!
Ubisoft backs Sony ending physical games despite presiding over when a game's biggest corporate collapses. This is from WW Pro. This is that
Yep.
Park Place. This is, I'm sorry, I Ubisoft. They have another name by fans, and it's not a pleasant one. But anyway, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot is throwing his support behind one of the gaming industry's most controversial decisions in years, arguing that Sony's move to eliminate physical PlayStation games beginning in 2028 won't meaningfully disrupt the business. They're such suck-ups.
Yep.
And you know what, Ubisoft, you're not a AAA company. You've been AA for ages now. Stop it. You're not. I don't even know if you're even AA at this point. Coming from almost any other executive, those comments would have sparked debate. Coming from the head of Ubisoft, the publisher that has become synonymous with missed expectations, canceled project layoffs, studio closures, and one of the most dramatic stock collapses in modern gaming, they raise a different question entirely. Should the industry really be taking advice from a company that has spent years redefining what AAA failure looks like? But I think at this point, they're just sucking up to Sony. So,
Yeah.
Sony will help them out, maybe. During Ubisoft's latest earnings call, Guillemot was asked about Sony's decision to stop producing new PlayStation game discs beginning in January 2028. Rather than expressing concern about consumer backlash or game preservation, he argued that the transition would ultimately be beneficial. Drawing comparison to PC gaming transition away from physical media, Guillemot said, what we saw in PC is that it helped to grow the market. There's also some pressure for the future on the cost of the machines, and being able to be only digital will help to have a more accessible machine. There are pluses and minuses, but we think it will not disturb too much the industry. This is a bunch of nonsense coming from Ubisoft, because on PC, Ubisoft wanted you to buy their games on PC from their storefront and nowhere else.
Right.
They didn't want you buying it on Steam or Good Old Games or any other store. They wanted you buying it directly from them.
Yeah.
And anyway, but anyway, that I just figured I'd bring that up. He does bring up though PC isn't PlayStation. Guillemot's comparison between PC gaming and PlayStation also glosses over one significant difference. PC gamers enjoy an open ecosystem. Steam, Good Old Games, Epic Game Stores, Microsoft Store, Humble Bumble, Itch.co, countless third-party retailers all compete for customers. Prices fluctuate constantly, sales are frequent, and consumers can choose where to buy their games. This is like me when I recently got the Mario Galaxy collection. How if Nintendo had their way, I would pay the $69.99 for it, but because I was able to shop around, I eventually found a copy brand new for $49.99.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just this. But yeah. Anyway. Anything left to say on this? Because Ubisoft disgusts me, but other than that, they're fine.
Absolutely, and this is again, this relates to the previous article. It's again another company with a vested interest coming out supporting something that generates buzz in the news, which gets more people thinking. Get used to it. This is coming, and people just. Some of these people just buy into it. I literally do see gamers out there, in the forums going, well, get over it, boomer. This is the new age. I don't want a bunch of discs taking up space in my house. Da, 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 da. And they literally don't. They're like stupid kids. They don't listen. They don't understand. They don't have the perspicacity to think through the rationale of what they're saying and what the implications are going to be and how they're going to come to realize the error of their ways after it's far too late, and how they're literally contributing to the kind of the downfall of their favorite hobby.
Well, there are other hobbies out there, I suppose. But I did want to bring up that, by the way, I didn't do an article on this, but recently Ubisoft released Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the pirate game that was much beloved back in the day. But the new release is censored. Do you know what they censored?
What'd they censor?
Well, in the original version, you had like I guess, like many ships back in the day would have a woman on the front of the ship. And,
a masthead.
And of course she was topless in the original, but of course she was carved out of wood, so big deal, right?
Right.
Well, in this one they put a top on her in the wood carving.
Oh God.
That is the height of patheticness. It's not like she was even that well defined in the original.
What would be even funnier is if instead of it being carved in, have it so that it was the original masthead, but like somebody had put a top over it, you
like
know,
a polka dot
cloth.
bikini. Yes.
Or or a little flag or something. Like somebody on the ship was offended by it and did that or something, you know?
Yes. Thank you, Ubisoft. I'll be staying away from that.
This is why I'm still so thankful for the modding community that says, screw you, we're gonna, change the look of characters ourselves, and you can't say anything about it.
Well, here's what I don't get
guess
about
they
it.
can more and more now that it's out there and not on your desktop anymore.
Well, here's what I don't get about the about Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Assassin's Creed Black Flag was a high definition game. It was released on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, but it also came out on the next gen hardware. I mean, it could go. I'm sure it could go up to at least 1080p. There might have even been a 4K version. So I don't know why there's another release of it, because they want money. Because nothing new they're selling is selling.
Right.
What does Geek Flag say? Like Troy, like Mouse, tell me I have to embrace the future. I had to sit him down and explain it to them. Oh my goodness! Oh, the kids. A good thing you have you for a dad. Okay, yikes.
It's
All
like,
right.
do you understand? I've already lived through the stupid shit you're saying, and learned the hard way that I was wrong.
Well, here's what I don't get. They don't understand that there was a time when you couldn't own a movie.
Right.
You remember those days? That was the 1970s.
Well,
you were lucky to have it on TV.
We talk about it all the time. This is why there's that so-called, it's at least part of why there's this so-called Mandela effect. You remember things about movies that weren't so because you don't know. There's been such a long time between when you actually see it and when you see it again. For some of the movies that I saw as a young man, it's been over 30, 40 years since I saw this movie, and it's not the same way that I remember it, because that's how human memory works. And the reason I didn't see it is because after it left the movie theater, it may or may not come to network television. This was before there was cable, before there was even the idea of being able to watch it on your computer through streaming, in quotes, streaming, right? You had a hope for an edited version on television at some point.
Yes.
And it wasn't until the 80s when people commonly started getting cable that you got to see these movies again. And sometimes even then they were different than the version that you saw in the theaters.
They were often cropped because of the widescreen stuff, yes.
And it was about that, don't even get me started on the different versions.
That's for another stream.
It totally could. We might touch on that during a week from Friday's last call, but I'm telling you, and it was about that time when you started to get your first home videos, VHS, Betamax, laser discs, right? That was the only way you could physically own the thing.
Yeah.
And you could watch it whenever you wanted. Now, kids are like, I could see it wherever I want because I use streaming. Can you? Look up such and such movie. Oh, it's not available anymore.
Yep.
It's on a service I don't have anymore.
Or it was on the service and it's gone and we don't know when it's coming back.
But I'll tell you how else you could watch, have that same convenience, right? Own it on physical media and then back it up to your own cloud drive. And then you can watch it anywhere.
Nintendo says gamers aren't entitled to tariff refunds as it seeks dismissal of class action lawsuit. I sent you a different article about this, but I went with the WW
Yes.
Pro. I'm sorry. Nintendo, you don't disappoint. Because
we're going to have to bring back some of these articles, by the way, a week from Friday, because I want to get Michael French's reaction to this one.
This one? Well, this has nothing to do with the physical media fight, though. This is just Nintendo being dicks.
It kind of does, in that this is the same. It's a related mentality, and it's something that Michael has talked about before. And look, just from a business standpoint, I'll tell you this from a strict business standpoint, and I've heard a lot of business analysts and legal analysts talking about this during the tariffs. If you are doing business the way you should, you are already, and look, Don't fight the messenger. This is just the reality of economics. This is good old-fashioned economics 101, supply and demand, right? Businesses are going to charge you as much as they can get away with. And it's considered gouging when it's things that you need, like food and water and other things you need to live, right? Mm-hmm. But when it's something like this is where it plays out the best. Because I look at a game and I go, you gotta be shooting me. There is no way I am spending that much money on this thing I don't need to live when I have to spend $12 on a dozen eggs and my gas is over $4 a gallon. Screw you. I don't have that kind of money left over, you know?
Yes.
And that's why they're already charging as much as the market will bear, or they should be. Right? Then when a tariff comes along, the way it's supposed to work is that the company has to eat that cost. They go, well, we're incurring this cost. We're already charging as much as the market will bear, so we're not going to pass those fees along to the consumer. Well, guess what? Gamers are stupid because they will pay 2, 3, 4 times as much. Just plug it into my friggin' vein. That's how these stupid gamers
Calm
are.
down, honey. You're gonna blow a gasket.
Yeah.
Let me read to you what Nintendo said. Okay, specifically.
Nintendo, by the way, welcome's Clue.
Okay. Nintendo is asking a federal court to throw out a proposed class action lawsuit that claims the company should pass any tariff refunds it receives from the U.S. government back to consumers. In a court filing first reported to GameFile, Nintendo argues that customers who purchased its products at prices influenced by U.S. tariffs received exactly what they bargained and paid for and have no legal right to rebates simply because the company may later recover tariff payments from the government.
So let me tell you something about this so-called class action lawsuit, right? However this class action lawsuit goes, there's another court that this is being played out in, and that's the court of public opinion, which sometimes is even more valuable. So gamers, if you roll over and take it up the tailpipe from Nintendo, as you always do, you have no one to blame but yourself. This is your opportunity to say, this is your opportunity to say exactly what Nate said right here. You have that opportunity. Hold your money. Quit slovenly giving it over to Nintendo.
But Zelda remake coming out.
You just said the key word.
Advocate.
You just said the key word. It's a remake. Why do you need it if you already have it?
Oh, please. Nintendo will often sell you the same game over again. Anyway, okay. Let me just read you.
But this time you don't own it. This time you get...
Well, I don't have a Switch 2. That's right, so I can't get it. But anyway, why the lawsuit was filed. The proposed class action stems from Nintendo's pricing decisions after U.S. tariffs increased the cost of importing certain products. Consumers argue Nintendo passed those higher costs on through increased retail prices while publicly pointing to tariffs as a contributing factor. After portions of those tariffs were later unlawful, Nintendo joined other companies seeking refunds from the U.S. government from the duties that it paid. Okay, so this is what happened. Yes, I remember we did an article about this a while ago, how Nintendo was trying to sue the U.S. government to get the money they lost from tariffs back, and they did. Now, it's funny that when this was all started, Nintendo said that the price of the Switch 2 and its games had nothing to do with tariffs. And now they're saying it did because they wanted the free money. That's what happened here.
And that's what the lawyers... in the class action lawsuit should be bringing up. Wait, you said this didn't have anything to do with tariffs. You said that the rise in cost had nothing to do with tariffs. So how are you using that as a defense now?
I remember them specifically saying, because I thought that, they may raise the price even more due to tariffs later on, but they said the $450 price of the Switch 2 and the price of the games had... I don't know what exactly they're talking about tariff-wise, because they said it had nothing to do with tariffs. But then later on, they wanted the money back, so I guess I don't know. Unless they said, we ate the cost already and we need that money back. But that's not what they're arguing here. They're arguing here that consumers already paid the higher cost. and they
Right.
shouldn't have to want their money back. When what they should be saying is, we already bore the brunt and we didn't pass it on.
Actually,
to
the
customers.
government should
That would have
say,
been the smart thing.
well, then, that same applies to you as well. So you know what? We're not going to give you this rebate. Forget you.
I think they said that they had to charge more. They should have said that we were charging less and had to eat those costs internally. That's why they needed the money from that they paid in tariffs back. And that would have been their excuse for not giving the customers their money. But instead, they're going with this, which is probably what really happened.
True.
They can just eat the costs if they had to pay more.
So Samuel Proctor said, so I just came from a vacation at an Airbnb where there was a Nintendo Switch. It only had Mario Party and Donkey Kong game. That's when I realized I really only have 3 games I actually want to play on that console.
Yeah.
The 2 open world Legend of Zeldas and Mario Kart 8. Guys, yeah, this is what happens too with a console like that. You buy the console because there's like 2 or 3 games that you really, really want, and that's the only way you could play them. And then you buy a bunch of crap that you don't really want and don't really play because you feel like you have to justify the purpose of having it.
You just described me buying the Nintendo 64 back in 1996. I bought some turkeys on that.
David Pensek says companies need their customers, not the other way around. You wouldn't know it the way these consumers are like in a cult. They come out defending these companies like they need it, like they're stans, like they're girls on OF. That's how these gamers are. And unfortunately, the companies know it.
But the cartridge is gold, laugh out loud. It's funny, the original Zelda, the Zelda games on the Nintendo 64, if you bought Ocarina of Time early, you got the gold cartridge. I have the gold cartridridge.
Well, I'll take the original one and I'll just put gold leaf on myself, and it'll actually have more gold, because I use real gold, right? I remember growing up with the Nintendo Wii. There were so many games I loved from that console, I can't even count them. I didn't own it, but a company that I worked at had it in the rec room. I kind of loved it, yeah.
My favorite Wii game was...
Some of the gamers are like junkies. They need their digital crack, and that's the problem.
My favorite game on the Wii was the House of the Dead Overkill, which was like the Sega House of the Dead rail shooter arcade game, but it was a whole new game, and it was based on 1970s grindhouse movies. It even had the junky film grain that and the pop and stuff.
I kind of
had
liked
it during the gameplay. Yes, it was funny.
So, Nate, I want to go back to what Nate said. This is another great point. This is also going to be the downfall of the consoles. I see the same thing happening in the toy industry. More and more and more, the toys are being made, marketed, and sold to adult collectors that will pay through the nose for it's got barbell hips instead of swivel hips. I gotta spend another $12 on that new version of the action figure that I've already got 15 versions of, and I gotta buy 2 of them because I need one in package and one out of package. Well, guess what? Kids aren't buying toys anymore. They're just not. So increasingly, it's just these adults. And I'm sorry, but I hate to be morbid, but eventually those fans die off, and that market gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Unfortunately,
and the
right
same thing
now,
is happening with these consoles, because more and more people are going over to not only to PC and getting PC ports and versions of these games, but they're getting games made by independent game makers that you can only get on the PCs that are as good as or better than what these big companies are putting out.
Yeah, it's becoming more of a trend lately, which, well, I would say it bothers me, but I probably shouldn't really be buying these games on consoles at this point anyway. But like a lot of these independent games are coming directly to PC.
Yep.
Hey guys, don't
Because
forget about the Evercade. Well, there's also the Evercade.
They have to, because they can't. Nintendo and whatnot will not work with them. So they're like, okay, screw you. I'll just make the game myself, put it out on Steam, and there you go.
I don't know how Nintendo is now, but I know, especially during the Switch era, they were very pretty. I heard they were pretty decent with indie developers. Most of the time,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, I think PC is still the best for them, but a lot of indie titles got released on the Switch, the regular Switch, not the, which of course now costs more money as well because of tariffs, component costs. What's the answer today? This is my favorite article of the week. Gaming wise, Microsoft tests ad-supported game streaming with Xbox Insiders. I've already figured this out. Okay? In the future, you are not going to have a lot of hard drive space, but that's okay because Xbox has these data centers, or Microsoft has data centers where they'll just store the game for you and you can stream it. You can stream the game you bought for free, huh?
Don't do me any favors, Microsoft. Because again, this is Microsoft. Again, if you have this game and it's out there on their servers, but they get hit and Microsoft is down like it was last week, you can't play your game. But they got your money. They got your money.
But there's a catch. You didn't think we'd let you stream your own library for nothing, right? Microsoft Xbox announced today.
Yeah, it's not enough that you paid for the damn thing.
That Microsoft Xbox announced that it is starting to test an ad-supported way to stream select games from your library for a limited time, available to Xbox Insiders. Oh, wow. Imagine being an X-Sider and getting to watch some free ads. During the test period, Xbox Insiders with an Xbox account will be able to stream games from their own for free with ads. Players will have 1-hour session limits across supported devices and regions, with pre-roll ads lasting 2 minutes or so, and Xbox source told game beat. Here's what you could expect. Ads will play before the session begins. The core game experience is unchanged. See? This is optional. Players can choose other ways to play at any time. Well, yeah, for a small fee, you can get the ad-free streaming per month. But, we're going to increase the price of
the type that actually wants to pay for this kind of abuse. Look, you know, it's not enough to be in an abusive relationship. You got to pay for it, too. You know? I mean...
I know, I'm thinking...
That's fine if that's your kink. I'm not going to kink shame. But I think there's more people that are like, well, you know, he said he loves me. Microsoft said they love me. And here's more money so that maybe you'll be nicer to me in the future.
Just like when the guy goes up to the woman's house and he just has a big wad of cash to hand her, and then she kicks him in the face as part of the deal. It just we're shutting the door in his face. I just don't understand. Anyway, for many players, the device they already own now allows them to stream games with Xbox Cloud. Can also help Xbox One owners play newer games built for Xbox Series X without needing to purchase new hardware right away. Do you hear that? I can go play that, I guess, that new Castlevania game and just stream it instead on my Xbox. I can't deal with this.
This is making me think. There was an article I was reading. Yes, this is not firsthand knowledge. I actually got this from research. I was reading an article about the OF problem, okay? It was an umbrella thing. And one of the things that I read in there, it just kind of blew my mind. I assumed I knew what OF was. I assumed it was, you know, not just girls either. It's all kinds of people doing all kinds of, you know,
things.
Adult activities, right? You know, of the X-rated variety, right? Well, apparently there are some women on there that collect money from guys to not really show anything, and to you know, tease that they're going to and then never do, and then be abusive to them, saying how tiny they are and how insignificant they are and you're pathetic, and I'm like, there's people that actually pay for this, and then we're talking about this, and I'm like, oh yeah, there absolutely is people that are willing to pay for this.
Yeah. Well, you know, because that's what they call a pay pig, right?
I guess.
The only reason I wanted to get a Switch are Mario and Sonic and the arcade version of Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Well, you're right. You can't get Mario on anything else. And Sega's
And
got
don't.
Sonic.
And though we won't read this out loud to trigger the algorithm, don't even limit yourself that way, Clue. There's sites you can go to that will sample from that and other sites as well. So
I did want to mention
easier than you think.
I did want to mention to you, Clue, even though a lot of the mini craze console has gone down, apparently My Arcade is working on something. They're taking forever with it, but they're working on a Namco Capcom game station, which will include a ton of Capcom games, including that Street Fighter game you mentioned, a bunch of Namco games like Pac-Man, also I think Jalico and Pico games. Like over 100 games on this thing. You can just plug it into your TV or buy a little portable device that has them on it. I can't vouch for its quality yet. It's not out, and I don't know when it's coming out, but you might want to keep your eye on that if you need a Street Fighter fix. That might be an inexpensive way to get it, plus a bunch of other games, apparently including all the Mega Man games, too. So
based on when these comments came in, I'm thinking that he means do tell to me, in which case, shoot me a DM and I'll I don't want to sound like I'm being rude. I'll school you. I'll help you out, okay? I'll point you in the right direction. But I think the yes was in response to what you were saying, Boomer.
Yes, and when it finally breaks, they announce a release date for it. I will bring it up on this stream, okay? But right now, they're taking forever to bring it out, so I don't know if it's still happening or not. It would have Final Fight on it too, yes. But yeah, moving on though. Nintendo launches a creepy advert for Lego Donkey Kong set. This I kind of liked. A lot of the Lego sets, they sometimes get a celebrity to introduce the Lego set. For instance, the one character the actor who played Short Round in Temple of Doom, he did the introduction for the Goonies set last year.
Oh, that's cool. That is really cool.
He's an adult now because he was a kid in that. But the advert for the Donkey Kong set has none other than Steve Wiebe, who is the Donkey Kong champion, arcade champion.
Oh, wow.
He was the subject of the documentary The King of Kong, where it was him versus Billy Mitchell.
That's a little bit of a deep dive. Only like people that are real into Donkey Kong.
You need to watch that documentary. Okay. It's him versus Steve Wiebe, Steve Wiebe versus Billy Mitchell, the Pac-Man champion, and he keeps trying to discredit it. Like Billy Mitchell's like the... he's kind of the villain of the movie. And like this guy's like the middle class high school teacher that, you know, he tried to do a lot of things in life, but he never quite made it. Like he almost made it to professional baseball, but didn't quite make it. And like his big thing is playing Donkey Kong. Then it looked like he was getting the high score, but then Billy Mitchell, Mr. Pac-Man champion, says, "I have the Donkey Kong high score. I'm the best at Pac-Man and Donkey Kong." And it's a documentary about these two fighting it out to become the top Donkey Kong score in the country, you know, in the world, basically. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, he did the commercial for the new the Donkey Kong Lego set coming out, and this is a funny article. I'm all for Lego sets aimed toward adults. Don't get me wrong. Having nostalgia sets are built for older gamers is awesome, and I'm all for it. But this advert for the new Donkey Kong Lego set feels like it should be for a Silent Hill game rather than an old arcade title. Legendary Donkey Kong. It's creepy. Yeah, legendary Donkey Kong player Steve Wiebe is walking around his house being tormented by the thought of playing Donkey Kong, seeing Donkey Kong in the shadows, looking at a locked door, all accompanied by whistling kettles and strange sound effects that make me feel a little unnerved while watching. In the end, Steve sits down to play Donkey Kong in Lego form, showcasing the new arcade set in all its glory. The reprieve from the tension that the advert builds up feels amazing, but it definitely feels like a little full-on for a Lego set. Anyway, you can check it out. But it was a funny commercial, that's all. And they also recently had Gillian Anderson for the commercial for the X-Files. Lego set.
I was thinking
really?
about that.
I didn't know that. Oh, yes, I did. There she is.
Yeah.
She looks great, by the way.
She kind of does. I hate to admit it. I mean, I liked her as a redhead. I kind of really like her. Well, you know, I do have a type.
I think she's more blonde now that she's older, yeah.
Yeah.
That can happen over time. Red hair can get more blonde, I think. So, yeah, that's what happens.
Well, there's two things that can happen. One, they just decide to do it because that's the color they're using, so to speak. Right. But there's also, I've seen a lot of actresses who got known with a certain hair color and are like, no, I'm done. I'm done dyeing my hair, and go back to their natural color. I don't know which that is. I will not make assumptions on her.
Well, it's like Brent Spiner after he finished playing Data, because they would make his hair that kind of dark brown black color. After they finished filming and he washed his hair for the last time, he looked at it and he goes, dang, when did I get gray?
Yeah. Right?
Oh no, because he was data for so long. Oh,
Right,
okay,
exactly.
yes. By the way, there was a Lego Data in last year's TNG set.
Oh, there
So
you go.
there you go. The brick is out there. Lego has partnered with Gillian Anderson to reveal the new X-Files set, which features 1,478 pieces and 8 minifigures, including Mulder and Scully. The X-Files set is part of the company's fan-favorite Lego Ideas line, in which users submit ideas for products, which are then considered for production as official Lego sets, depending on votes. The X-Files Lego set includes a detailed replica of FBI agent Fox Mulder's office, along with a forest clearing scene and a hovering UFO. Minifigs include Fox Mulder, Dana Scully, Walter Skinner, Mr. X, Alex Krycek, Carl Busch, the Fluke Man, and a gray alien. Carl Busch.
I don't know who that
I don't
is.
know. You would know better than I would.
Dana, what? Oh, that's probably the actor who played Cigarette Smoking Man, because he never had a name on the show. They just called him the Cigarette
okay.
Smoking Man. Okay. The truth is out there. There's even a truth is out there tile, pencils in the ceiling of Mulder's office. Yeah, you'd often throw pencils in the ceiling
Right.
on the show when he was bored, yeah. We'd get stuck in the cork board. But seeing myself as in minifig form is both surreal and oddly delightful. There's something very charming about being miniaturized, Anderson said in a statement. The whole set is a brilliant celebration of the X-Files, which I hope fans enjoy revisiting in this way. I know I can't wait to put Tiny Scully on my shelf. Yes, this was made by Australian fan designer and 3D artist Brent Waller. Submitted the X-Files set as part of Lego Ideas 90s Nostalgia Challenge. I saw some of those other sets. There was a Fifth Element set.
Interesting.
That would have been cool. The Fifth Element set.
I'll bet when they get these submissions, they're probably like, we can't do all of these, but I'm sure there's, they'll remember them for potential future runs.
The two winners of the 90s was Wallace and Gromit and the X-Files. Those are the two winners.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We talked about the Wallace and Gromit one, didn't we?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was obsessed with the X-Files from the moment he saw it in the 90s. Originally built Mulder's office back in 2014 while rewatching the series, and it grew from there as a personal project. It's interesting, though. His original set had Toombs, the guy that would crawl through the air ducts. Instead, they've replaced the Toombs with the Fluke Man in the final set, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
The bonus set that you get if you pre-order it between August 1st and August 10th, you get a little mini set of Scully's lab, where she's in her lab coat. Because she was often in the lab dissecting corpses, finding out what's gone wrong. And, yeah.
Sure.
I almost wish it had been the Lone Gunman's apartment with the Lone Gunman minifigs, but alas. But good sets.
Maybe an expansion set in the future.
Yeah, maybe. And to be fair, they have great minifigs. I like the fact they had Mr. X in there. He was one of the more interesting characters on the show because I never quite knew whose side he was on. But
there you go. Now, I don't think we have an article about this, but just this past weekend at San Diego Comic-Con, they released a Lego... Lego is going to do a Lego bridge set of the original Enterprise. Oh,
this one?
I guess we do have an article about this
yes.
one. Sorry about
I was
that.
going to miss this one. Yeah, you know what I find fascinating about this set? Does this remind you of a Lego version of the old bridge set you would buy as a toy in the 70s?
Well, a little bit. This one's, ironically, this one's probably a little bit more accurate than the Mego one. That we got back in the 70s, but they're going with the same idea where they have the transporter room, off to the side, and it wasn't really anywhere near the bridge in reality, but whatever. But the reason I was starting to bring this up was because apparently this is the weekend for Revelations at San Diego Comic-Con about Star Trek, and specifically about Star Trek bridge sets, apparently. Because apparently also the Nacelle set, the Nacelle company is putting out a bridge set, and I'm like, screw you, Nacelle company, because I haven't even gotten the last 2 waves of action figures from you. You can't get anything out. I am not ever going to buy anything from you again. Certainly
Yikes.
not pre-order bull crap.
Sorry to hear
So we
about
haven't
that.
paid for that stuff yet, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think the money comes out of our account until they go to ship it. But we're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. So screw you, Nacelle Company. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about an established company where you can actually get a hold of the product. You don't have to pre-order it. And you can have it in hand for the rest of your life.
No, you can buy it at several outlets. The only one things you can't get is if they have a bonus set. Those are exclusive on the Lego site. I don't think they were going to have a bonus set with this one. If they were, you know what the perfect bonus set for this would be? See on the view screen there, you see a Klingon, one of the old-fashioned Klingons.
Yeah.
It'd be neat if the bonus set was the opposite side of that, and the Klingon looking at a screen and Kirk's on
That
there.
would be kind of brilliant. Yeah.
That would be kind of
Well,
neat.
but there's a problem with that, though. They never showed the Klingon bridge in the
On the
original
old
series.
show. Oh, well,
We
so they
didn't
were
see-
being accurate there.
We did not see it until the motion picture, and you almost have to imagine it backwards. You have to like take away the detail and brighten the lights and imagine what it would have looked like during the time of the show.
So let's see. Lego announces original Star Trek set. Yesterday's San Diego Comic-Con's annual extravaganza. The Lego Group made a big splash with their long-awaited follow-up to last year's USS Enterprise D set. The company has returned to the final frontier with an original series sequel. Lego new USS Enterprise NC-1701 bridge set playset is now official. 1,701 component pieces and 8 character minifigs to populate the Starship Command Center. The set includes several interactive features, including a rocking captain's chair, for the action scenes when they're getting hit, right?
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I don't remember it being a rocking chair, but okay.
Moving.
I mean,
turbo
if they were doing modern Trek, you'd need to have a special leg attachment for your minifigs so they could have bare feet, right?
Don't give them ideas.
Ew.
Yeah.
Moving turbo.
Oh no,
doors.
I don't see Lego doing it because they know that no one would buy this Kurtzman crap.
No. But minifigs include Star Trek crew Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, Dr. McCoy, Scotty, Uhura, Chekhov, Sulu, and Nurse Chapel. With accessories like phasers, tricorders, communicators, plus Spock's Vulcan loot, a pair of Vulcan Lurpas, an engineering trident scanner, a dilithium crystal, a bowl of plomic soup,
Plomeek soup, yes.
and several tribbles. They didn't mention this here, but I think Sulu has his sword.
Oh, that's cool. From the episode The Naked Time, yes.
Yes. But yeah, and there's an official announcement here. I don't know if they're going to do a commercial for this, but if they do, they got to get Shatner.
Oh, and they almost certainly would.
Yes. Shatner should be the one doing the commercial for this one. I got them doing Steve Wiebe for the Donkey Kong. That makes sense.
Yeah.
They could have also done Sejiro Miyamoto since he invented him, but yeah, I think Steve Wiebe was a good choice. Fluff Chick Productions. Okay.
Hello.
So, anyway, it looks cool. It looks like an old-fashioned toy, if I'm being honest here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're into Legos and like Star Trek, this may be for you.
And honestly, I've talked about how I came to Star Trek. I wasn't into it initially, and it wasn't really until the motion picture and things like the McDonald's tie-ins and stuff that kind of got me interested in Star Trek. So I retroactively started getting into it. And honestly, this is the kind of thing where I could totally see kids getting this as a gift, playing with it, enjoying it, not knowing much about Star Trek, starting to look into it. Guys, this is how you build franchise or rebuild franchises, I should say.
It was the last Lego I ever got. It was either the from Jurassic World or Force Awakens Stormtrooper transport. That's just a rectangle. Well, that's how they did it in Force Awakens, I assume. By the way, when I was a kid and into Legos, it was the same time I was into Star Trek. And I tried rebuilding the Enterprise bridge with my castle sets and the few space sets I had. I was trying to figure out a way to build it on my own, and it didn't turn out right. But I would have killed for a set like this when I was like in the 6th grade. This would have been right up there. Apparently there's other talk coming out of San Diego Comic-Con, which I'm sure we will be referring to next week. Apparently a new big screen Star Trek movie, so we'll keep an eye on that. Thank you, Geek.
And Lynn Green says, it does remind me of the Mego Lego playset case, only they turned it 180 degrees. Yeah, you're kind of right about that. That's true.
I am going to say this: if they do a Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan bridge set, I'm there.
Oh wow.
With Khan on the visor,
Yeah.
you know. Because think about it, in that movie, you never meets Khan either. You're just seeing Khan from the other side.
Right.
But,
Yeah, they
the
said that Shatner once said that he and Ricardo Montalban were never in a scene together. They spoke, in theory,
Yep.
in post-production, either by the screens or audio, but they were never actually together in filming.
Oh, that's interesting if they were showing each of them screens instead of showing them... I didn't think about that. The elevated fanboy cult of Christopher Nolan. You had sent this one to me last night. And I pulled some quotes from this because I think you got a little testy about this one, if I was reading you right on social media.
The whole thing annoys me. The whole thing really annoys me.
Now, this was written by Owen Gleiber.
So we could tell.
She knows I'm annoyed about everything tonight.
But this is written by Owen Gleiberman. To be fair, Owen Gleiberman has been writing entertainment columns since the 90s. I think he used to either write for TV Guide or Entertainment Weekly. I used to read him in print. Actual print, not online. Right. But this is what he wrote. I'm pulling some quotes because I'm trying to figure out what had you miffed, okay? That Christopher Nolan would hit a home run with the Odyssey was as predictable as the as Odysseus's return to Ithaca. What is a little bit
right there, I've got a problem with just referring to it as a victory. I don't think it's as big a victory as the shills would have you believe. That, in and of itself, is a false premise that they're starting the article with. I almost said argument, but I digress. Go ahead.
Well, all I can say is that consensus of the media is that it's a hit. Okay.
Well, that's what I mean, and it's it feeds on itself. Right? As soon as someone says it, they can refer to somebody else and say, look, Variety said it, so it's a hit, regardless of whether it actually makes money.
So the movie earned a staggering $124 million in its opening weekend, with its IMAX showing sold out for the rest of the millennium or close to it. Internationally, the film was Nolan's biggest opening to date, yet those numbers don't tell the full story. This past week, Christopher Nolan has seemed like James Cameron. The week's Titanic opened. The filmmaker who conducted the entire panel, who's conducting the entire planet. My mistake. A filmmaker who's conducting the entire planet. The Odyssey has become Barbenheimer all by itself, with rare exceptions. An army of critics and even academic historians have been raving, shoring up the artistic credibility of Nolan's 3-hour Homerian epic. The Odyssey now looks destined to be a major player, maybe even the major player in the awards race. The film's staggering success guarantees Nolan more than ever can call the shots to make any movie he wants, leading the industry in any direction he favors.
Now,
and, Nolan,
admittedly, there are analysts that have been pointing out that this might actually be, we've all been maybe a little short-sighted in saying that the whole reason he's doing what he's doing was for Academy consideration. It may actually be because he needs to be able to fund movies going forward. So regardless of his actual motivation and thought process, he absolutely is bending over to slurp the backside of Hollywood.
Anyway, but the end of this quote goes, Nolan has now scaled that peak, a populist mystique shared by only a few directors in movie history: Spielberg, Hitchcock, Kubrick, Tarantino. A Christopher Nolan film is inevitably an event, and that extends to the way we watch it. Now, I have an argument against Owen Lieberman. I'm saying his name wrong. I think Nolan has been a big deal for a while now. I don't think this is new. Now, you cannot like his movies, and I haven't liked everything he's done either. I thought Oppenheimer was a horrible bore. I'm going to be honest here. Go ahead. But, he's been a big deal for a while. But, I often make a point that a lot of people love Roman Polanski, and they think his movies are great.
Good point. Good point.
This was a whole thing I brought up that, regardless of what he did outside of movie making, which got him a
Yeah.
reputation. That's not the reason I don't like his movies. I just don't like his movies. I've seen Chinatown, I've seen Rosemary's Baby, and I couldn't stand either of them. I watched The Ninth Gate later on, and I think The Ghost Rider. I think, okay, well maybe these are no. I just don't like his style. I've never liked Roman Polanski, but there are always going to be the major consensus out there that think he's brilliant, and there's nothing I can do about it. You know,
Yeah.
I just taste. This is why one of the reasons I love The Omen so much is that The Omen took a similar premise to Rosemary's Baby, and I thought did it much better. That's my opinion.
I would agree with you on that. That's true. I really like The Ninth Gate, but for very different reasons than the
Johnny
movie
Depp was
making
good
of
in it.
Johnny Depp was good in it, and
Yeah.
Let me guess, boobs.
I don't
Yes.
know if it had Did it have boobs in it? No.
Yes.
I was focused on the book.
I've not read the book, so I should probably look.
No,
into
no.
that.
Well, no. Let me back up for a second.
Oh, the
I
book
guess
in the
like-
movie.
Yes, that had a double
Okay.
meaning, and I didn't think about it until you said it. But both are true for me. The original book and the prop book that I am actually working on reproducing. So yeah, I'm a weirdo that kind of way. But yeah,
I have hardly talked about the Odyssey on this channel. I think I had zero interest in it beyond the casting choices. Frankly, I couldn't see Matt Damon as Odysseus. I'm like,
I agree.
no. I think he's just picking the actors he likes to work with and threw them in there. And there wasn't a
Yep.
regard for who's right for the part.
Exactly.
And other than that, I'm just. I was afraid it was going to do well, though. I hate to say this. I think people watched the trailer and said, "Oh, look, Cyclops."
yeah.
I'm gonna go pay money to see this.
Oh, it's Christopher Nolan. I love those Batman movies.
I like the Batman movies. I know you're not as enthusiastic about them as myself. But
I mean, there's things that I really did like about them, but you know, I don't think
Oh.
they're all that.
Owen Gleaverman mentions The Dark Knight Rises. How he said Bane was he has a quote in here. In fact, I could read that because I will say this for Owen Gleaverman. He I think what he was making a point in this. I mean. This is how I keep forgetting I've not read a lot of these professionally written articles for a while. I read,
Yeah.
well, let me just say stuff like on Collider and stuff. I'm not trying to throw shade at Collider, maybe I am. But like, for the record, I think Christopher Nolan at his greatest is a miracle filmmaker. Two Nolan films that for me are true masterpieces are The Dark Knight. I do like The Dark Knight a lot, which heightened the comic book movie and hypnotic operatic noir. And Oppenheimer, which found its drama and staying remarkably true to the creation of the nuclear bomb and struggle and human failings of the man who envisioned it. No, I thought Oppenheimer was a snooze fest. I'm going to be honest with you. That's my least favorite Nolan movie, though I've not seen Dunkirk yet, so I can't judge that one way or the other.
Well, I've done a watch party of it. I really loved Dunkirk.
It's fine. You can like it, yeah.
But I had a real problem with it, and it's based on something that one could argue is a strength of Nolan's, at least at the time, while trying to be slovenly accurate to history. He refused, and practical movie making. He refused to use any CG, and in so doing, there's this great scene where someone says something about all these soldiers on the beach, and you turn and they literally cut to a scene of the beach, and it's like, where are they all? You know, and there should have been like 5 times the number of extras on that beach, or at least cardboard cutouts of people or something if they wanted to be accurate. In most modern filmmaking, they would have duplicated people using CG, but
Like the guy that used to be all the Oompa Loompas.
yeah, exactly. But I digress. This is another example of a director like Steven Spielberg, George Lucas. I'm sorry, I know that these people are sacrosanct to some of y'all, but they had their best films that we loved, and they've never really gotten back to that. After Star Wars, we got Howard the Duck. What have we even gotten from George Lucas after that? I mean, nothing. And everyone acts like he's the greatest. And even when you look at Star Wars, you go, yeah, Star Wars was good. It's a good thing, that his wife fixed it in the editing. Empire Strikes Back was the best. It's a good thing that Lawrence Kasdan wrote it,
Yes, Boomer. I feel the same way about Stanley Kubrick. I'm sorry, but I think his movie's best. You're entitled to your opinion. I happen to love Kubrick, though. It's okay, though.
I kind of, well, I'm
It's okay
somewhere
not to
between,
like things. It's
I'm
okay.
somewhere in between the two of you. I think there's some things that are great about Kubrick films. There are other things that I think are Kubrick smelling his own farts. Okay? And that's unfortunately what happens with some of these directors. They start buying into their own hype and the bull crap and the circle jerking that happens in Hollywood, and things are not as good as they could be if they had a little bit of humility.
Oh. Well, he was practical effects heavy, I thought, in the Dark Knight trilogy. I think that was a reaction. There was a big reaction after I think it was Batman and Robin and also the Bond movie, Die Another Day, where there was just such an overuse of CGI that filmmakers started going back. We need practical effects again. Like with the Jason Bourne movies, they wanted to bring that down and make it more serious. And
That's fine, but that makes it even worse, Samuel, because if that's the case, then why the hell didn't he do something to give us more people on that beach? Why didn't he, use CG to kind of, or whatever method, to take out the antenna on top of the building and stuff like that?
that being,
It's sloppy. It's just friggin' sloppy.
I will say this: if he got an actual Cyclops for this new movie, I'll color me impressed.
Well, and one could argue you could take a real person and stab him in the eye and you suddenly got a Cyclops. But that's not enough because they had to not only have just one eye, but have it tilted sideways in some bizarre way that has nothing to do with anything you've ever seen in any
So he
depiction.
had a rakishly tilted eye.
There you go.
I don't know.
The Dark Knight trilogy has more CG than you think. You might be correct there. It's funny the amount of movies where I think there's no CG. I was watching A Simple Plan, great classic Sam Raimi movie, and unfortunately, a lot of the snowfall in that they said the weather wasn't cooperating, so that's CG, and I couldn't tell. But
Well,
it was
I've
CG.
already told you guys about the CG in 50 Shades of Grey. I mean, you'd be shocked at some of the things that they feel they need to do using CG. But that just makes it worse because there's things that he should have used it for and didn't, is all I'm saying. You're just making a worse and worse argument for this guy.
Yes, you're mentioning that actress. Yes.
Yes.
Dakota Johnson.
Yep. And how some of her was augmented. And I don't mean in the obvious way that women might be augmented.
I feel
I didn't really. That's just it. That's why I wouldn't have even noticed this.
It's funny. I haven't watched those movies because I kind of don't want to go there. I'll admit when I see her rocking those dresses on the red carpet, she does a very good job.
Oh yeah,
But-
she's not an unattractive woman. It's just
And then I see her
don't
acting
think
in
she's a
certain
good
movies.
Yeah, she's
No,
not a
she's
good
not.
actress.
She's
The only
maybe she
reason I
hasn't
have
gotten the
any-
right script yet. Okay.
The only reason I have any experience with the 50 Shades of Grey movie, well, that's
I
a
know
story
you
for
saw
another
it.
time, and I've told this story
Yes.
before, so let's just move on.
And I did not have anything to do with it. I did not watch
No,
it.
she sure did not.
I had
It's
no
okay.
interest in it.
Well, apparently it's a distorted version of the Twilight books, and I didn't realize.
Exactly. That's exactly right. It's Twilight fan fiction.
Okay, I think we spent enough time on this. He'll be top dog until he's not. But you're saying a lot of this top dog thing is manufactured by the media. It's probably doing better than a lot of other movies this summer, though. I'll say that just because.
Yeah, because it's on IMAX. That's really the only reason. Because
I am gonna say something,
people are spending
yeah.
the money to see it on IMAX. If you go by butts in seats, it is not the best-selling film. It's just the highest dollars because of IMAX.
This was another director that Warner Brothers lost because of the day and
I'm
date
not
thing.
saying I haven't seen it at all. I've seen parts of it. I'll tell that story another time.
Another
Just
time.
bear with me, yeah.
Oh wow, there's an audiobook.
Well, it makes sense because it was originally a book, so of course there's going to be
It
an
should be
audio.
It
Kathleen
would
Turner
take you
reading
all
the
of
audiobook.
2 minutes to tell that story, dear.
It's the kind of thing you might find on certain sites that are just 3 pages long,
Okay. If anyone can make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, it's
Taylor Sheridan, you're absolutely right. In fact, it probably would actually involve a real sow.
But I almost would rather just see Taylor Sheridan doing an actual movie about a real military event
I
than just
know,
doing
right?
a modern warfare movie. I don't. Now, yeah, this is another one from WW Pro, but we want to give him credit. But since it was announced that Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg would team up for a live-action Call of Duty film, fans have speculated about which of the more than 30 mainline games would serve as its foundation. Variety reports that during a panel at the Fanatics Fest in New York City on Saturday, Berg confirmed that this film will be set in the universe of the popular Modern Warfare games. The filmmaker appeared during a Call of Duty and Culture panel promoting the upcoming release of Modern Warfare 4. Further details about the story remain under wraps. It's also unclear whether the film will directly adapt one of the games or tell an original story using established characters and settings. Modern Warfare was a big deal when it came out at the time because typically these Call of Duty games were set during World War II. Okay? Right. And then they made this game called Modern Warfare, which was set in a fictional country in the Middle East, which was very obviously Iraq, because the Iraq War was still going on, so they didn't want to name it by name, but you could tell that's what it was based on. It was based on modern conflict, which made it a very interesting experience. And I remember Yahtzee Crosshair, when he was on The Escapists, he did a review where he thought it was a brilliant game because during one segment, the character you're playing as at one point, I think a bomb goes off. I don't know if it's a new or some other or dirty bomb or something, and your character you're playing as dies on the field, and you die, and then you have to start over as a different character in the next mission or something. And they thought that was a big deal at the time that they did that. You know,
that is interesting narratively speaking from in a game. Yeah.
I remember it was interesting. You could do night vision missions where you would bomb sites from or shoot at people from I guess an Apache helicopter or something like that. So I don't know. It's I like Taylor Sheridan shows so far. I kind of feel Tulsa King is running out of steam a little bit. You need credible threats on the show. I felt like the last threat on last season, it was just like this guy's just hanging around till Dwight takes care of him, basically, you know. So
yeah.
I love Landman. I don't know if you've seen Landman. That's about oil production.
No, I haven't. Yeah.
Okay. Billy Bob Thornton is on that show. And Billy Bob Thornton is basically plays this character who has no filter. I can't even explain it. His life is like a train wreck. And Ali Larder plays his ex-wife, but then she kind of gets back together with him on the show and divorces her ex-husband to be with him again. And it's like he loves her, but at the same time she has fits and throws. I wonder what Netter would think of the show, actually.
Yeah. We are going to have to start looking into some of these Taylor Sheridan films because I do think that they're the kinds of things that I would like and that Netter would like. And, I think it's going to have to happen.
Last season introduced Sam Elliott came onto the show, too. He plays his father, the Billy Bob Thornton's father on that. So there's a wonderful scene with Sam Elliott, and he's like, I have to go to the bathroom, pull over. And he says, really? We gotta go. I have to go. And he says, how do you think you'll like it when your prostate's the size of a thimble or something? It's just all the dialogue on the show, and Billy Bob Thornton's character has he has no filter. It's got a great cast. Demi Moore is on it. Andy Garcia is on it. It's a really good show. Yeah, but. So Taylor Sheridan's making a Call of Duty movie. If anyone can make it good, it's him. I just don't know that we needed a Call of Duty movie because it's a military shooter. But the Black Ops games were interesting, at least the first one, because...
Well, I'll say this. It does imply to me that they are looking at someone who knows how to tell a good tale.
Yeah.
And I've never seen Taylor Sheridan adapt someone else's property. So if he does it the way one should and get the story and go, okay, yeah, I can translate this into a good narrative, we're going to have something good here,
Yeah. So if anyone can do it, it's Taylor Sheridan. So we'll see. I'm going to say we'll see. Let's move on to The Great Return.
I know. I saw the what do you call it? Promo preview, whatever.
The trailer
that came out of San Diego Comic-Con this weekend, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. Apparently he showed up as Ebenezer Scrooge at the convention. Yeah.
Comic-Con got a double dose at 3-time Oscar nominee Johnny Depp, who, after showing up as Scrooge in character on the streets of Gaslamp District Thursday, crashed Collider directors on directing panel in Hall C with the trailer for Ebenezer, the Ty West directed holiday movie coming out November 13. Excuse me, I got a bit of a burping thing going on. Okay. Yes, hysterical is all we have to say. Depp is so method. You can't even make out what he is saying in a complete mumble. That was apparent earlier today during his Gaslamp appearance, and Deadline was standing less than 12 feet in front of him. In Hall C, after hobbling on stage with a candle, I'm speaking into the candle, he handed it off to director John Francis Daly, who was sitting at the end of the dais. Depp Scrooge turned to the crowd and said, "Have you no lives, no responsibilities?" And watching the trailer, it looks like Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd. It actually looks like a Burton picture, even though it's being directed by Ty West, who's done horror movies usually. So
I'll be honest with you, I have always thought that Ebenezer Scrooge would lend itself very well to a Tim Burton adaptation. I think this is probably as close as we'll get.
Well, we're getting 2 Scrooge movies. This is the first one. And there's another one being made by the guy that directed Nosferatu, Ed Eggers, and it's going to have William Dafoe as Scrooge. So I'm kind of curious about that
see
one
both
too.
of them.
Yes,
then.
They might be very different takes. This one seems more humorous, mischievous, I might say, from the trailer. He's like he throws his snowball at a couple walking away. Remember that? And he keeps saying humbug, and he's just he throws something at Jacob Marley and it goes through him because he's a ghost. Did you see that scene? And like, and Ian McKellen is playing Jacob Marley in this actually, so that's kind of
good.
Neat. It looks good. It's just the ghosts of Christmas past and present. We didn't see future in the trailer. No, we saw past and future. We didn't see present in the trailer. I wonder who's playing him, but they could have gotten Defoe to play the ghost of Christmas present actually.
I think he would have been better as the Ghost of Christmas Future.
Yes, the bombacity and whatnot. But no, I mean, it looks like a fun holiday movie. It's like I have a movie to see this holiday season. I'm very anxious and very happy to see Johnny Depp in the spotlight again. It's been way too long after that horrible trial.
Yeah.
Where he basically, it was a Me Too thing, but there was no evidence he did anything that was. I mean, he was in a bad relationship and maybe was drinking too much, but there was no evidence. You know, I think the trial exonerated him. Yes, I'm not going to. We're not going to get into that again, but I hope he has a comeback with this movie, and because I want to see him in more movies. So,
agreed.
If that went full research mode and look at this. If Depp went into full research mode and spoken legitimate reconstructed Victorian English like YouTuber Simon Roper does. I will say this, though. Eggers will make them speak in Victorian English.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you saw his movie, and I was mixed on this movie, but he did that movie, The Lighthouse, where they're playing like these New England lighthouse keepers, and Defoe's playing that, and I want to say he's talking like the captain on The Simpsons, but like even more so, like the language they use in it is from that period, like the late 1800s. Right. You know, lighthouse, seaman type speak. So
right.
I'm curious about this movie. So I like the effects, and I don't know. Anything left to say? Did you see this one, Netter, the trailer?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it came out really recently. I don't think she's had a chance.
It's like the last day or so, but it looks fun. Okay.
Yeah.
It looks in keeping with a lot of other Johnny Depp's performances. So I think this will be one to watch. So yeah. Plus, I like the story. Always have.
Of course. Of course.
I didn't put this in the games because it's not really games related.
No,
but,
I get what. Yeah.
I feel like I had a game thing in the Lego section too with the Donkey Kong thing, but that's not really games. But
right.
Atari makes Universal movie deal for 10 iconic game properties. What is going on here?
So, well, I'll let you get into it, especially when you get to the.
Okay.
To the
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Partnering with Entertainment 360, Atari has signed a deal with Universal Pictures, giving the studio the rights to develop 10 classic Atari video game properties for the big screen. Universal has bought the first project from a new partnership, a feature film based on Atari IP that will be produced by Entertainment 360's Goeman Cassidy from a screenplay by Matt Riley and Carl Hamp. Both of them will also be producers. For more than 5 decades, Atari has created games and worlds that have remained part of popular culture long after their original release, said Atari chairman and CEO Wade Rossman, confirming for Deadline. We're excited to work with Universal and Entertainment 360 to bring the spirit of our iconic brand and games to a new medium. The 10 properties include the ones we grew up playing until we were bleary-eyed. Asteroids.
Yeah.
Adventure.
Yeah. Go ahead and list them, and then I'll give you my reactions to them.
Asteroids, Adventure, Berserk, Breakout, Centipede, Crystal Castles, Millipede, that'd be the sequel, Missile Command, Pong, and Yar's Revenge.
Okay, so here's what I said, because I took them in a different order. I said Asteroids, yes, please. Adventure, okay, sure. Berserk, oh my gosh, yes. Yar's Revenge could be a whole cinematic universe in and of itself. Centipede, okay, could even imagine an adventure tie-in. Crystal Castles, I don't know that game. Millipede, sure, Centipede sequel. Missile Command, I could see that as a Fallout prequel in a weird way. Pong and Breakout, what? How do you make a movie out of those?
Here's how you make a movie about Pong.
Okay.
It's about the creation of the video game Pong.
Yeah, I would like
biopic.
that, but I don't see that being what they actually do with it. But yeah.
Well,
that would
that's
be
what
like the Tetris movie. Yeah.
Well, that's what they did with the Tetris movie, and that
Right.
would probably sell. Make it a product movie. I have no idea what they would do with Breakout. You know what Breakout is, and everyone's going to yell at me.
It's Pong on a one-sided Pong is what it is.
I was going to say it's the not Arkanoid.
Oh, okay. Well, there's that too. Yeah.
And I used to be really good at that.
Yeah.
Breakout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get that Atari collection on Steam, it's actually a very nice collection. You get to play. I think they have a souped-up version of Breakout on it. But no, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
man.
there was a Super Breakout that we had on the Atari too.
Berserk and Frenzy I would get, because I don't know if they have the rights to Frenzy, but Berserk was the robots, right? Yeah. And that was based on a pretty vivid dream, or the guy was in some post-apocalyptic future where robots were on Earth just wasting everybody or something. Was that what it was?
Yeah.
And they were hunting him. And Frenzy, I think, was about zombies, but a similar premise, right? But
Yeah. But I think what's really important too, because we talked about this before when we were talking about Atari games and so forth, those graphics are from the covers of the original 2600 cartridges.
yes,
That implies
fascinating
even
artwork.
more story than you could ever get from the little pixels, the little square pixels on the screen,
We could get Pixels to Electric Boogaloo. Oh, yes, you have to bring up Pixels.
Yeah. I'd actually forgotten about that.
Pixels. The one... That was the first time I think Nintendo loaned out the Donkey Kong IP for a movie.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong's a bad guy. And then Pac-Man was also a bad guy, right? In that movie. They
I
had
don't
to be
know.
the
I never
goat.
saw it.
You never saw it?
No.
The premise was interesting. We sent a one of those Voyager probes out into space, and we sent popular video games at the time along with the probe. And I guess the aliens misread it and took it as a invitation to attack us, and they attacked us using video game characters. So, like the thing from Centipede would come down and attack people, or
I see.
Donkey Kong would attack people, or Pac-Man would eat up cars and other people. There's a funny scene in it where the guy that created Pac-Man, he shows up. No, he is my son. He comes over from Japan. I will talk to him. And then Pac-Man bites his hand off and says, "Kill this mother!"
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, I don't know. It was all right. I'm being generous here. NES's Guardian Legends would make a good Star Wars clone. Yeah, there you go. Guardian Legends, the movie. Don't give them ideas, dude. No one. Anyway. Okay, let's wait and see what they do. Pong will be about the making of Pong. That's a guarantee.
I hope so. I
'Cause they are-
really hope so. Because, and you know what? That would also be, especially in this era of biopics and whatnot, it would be a great story to kind of set the stage for all of these video games and a revival, and just to let a later generation and even people that grew up with it know the behind the scenes of where it all came from and how it all started.
Well, and I also want to, the younger generation. I had mentioned the Atari game station, sorry, the Capcom Namco game station, but there's already an Atari game station out you can buy. And if you own a modern console, you can get a very nice Atari collection on physical media. Also, thought I'd bring that up. Okay, and you can get it for the Nintendo Switch or your PlayStation or Xbox consoles. It has a ton of games on it, not just arcade, but also home console versions as well. So it's kind of neat to, and even interviews with the people that made it. It's almost like a making of, but they let you play the games too, so like a lot of interviews and stuff. Moving on to GameStop reveals hostile takeover of eBay has begun as PlayStation ends physical game sales. I put this under Misc.
Yeah.
I still can't believe this.
This is kind of wild, yes.
How can GameStop buy out eBay? It's GameStop. Like, I could see if it was Target or Walmart or some
I
major
don't know,
retailer.
but maybe, I'm still kind of reeling from the whole GameStop stock situation.
They made a movie about that,
Oh, did they really?
Yes.
Interesting.
GameStop is moving forward with its attempted hostile takeover of eBay. The timing is significant as Sony prepares to eliminate the product that once defined video game retailers' business. According to a new regulatory filing, GameStop now owns 43.4 million shares of eBay, representing approximately 9.8% of the e-commerce company. How?
I mean, the same way any individual could. But a big company that finds themselves cash flushed for even a short period of time, going back to that whole
but here's the
thing.
They cannot take over eBay unless they own 51%.
That's not how a hostile takeover works. Hostile takeover is you leverage having close to 50% and then get other people to sell to you.
They got 9%. They need a lot more.
Oh, wait a minute, though. Hold on. I was mistaking. Oh no, they own 43.4 million shares. No, 9.8%, my mistake. Okay.
Yes. But that is a key. It doesn't have to be 50%. It has to be significant. So if you own 9.8%, right? That's almost 10%, right? How many people out there own 10% of the stock in that adds up to the other 90%?
Oh.
Not probably a lot. So you leverage that and you say, hey, you want to sell your stock and maybe go in with us on this, and maybe this could be a good lucrative. This is what corporatism is all about.
Look at this. GameStop originally offered eBay shareholders $125 per share, divided evenly between cash and GameStop stock. However, eBay's board rejected the non-binding proposal, calling it neither credible nor attractive. Cohen has repeatedly suggested that he will bypass the board and take his case directly to eBay shareholders.
Yep.
I'm not going to. Okay, so
Does
they
this
get
sound
games.
familiar, guys? We were talking about all this kind of stuff back in the early days of the Warner Brothers buyout.
So he's basically saying, I'll give you $125, and then we buy the company. You still get to own shares.
Yes, that is what a hostile takeover is, and that's how it works.
I'm not going to call my shots, but they're coming for eBay one way or another. This means they probably know that their used game business is done if they don't do something fast.
But yeah, they might be a little bit behind the curve on that, but diversifying has to happen. You always want that to happen.
Well, they've been a lot of GameStop stuff that they sell now is toys and other things instead of just being games. They could probably move into
in a smaller way, diversifying for a long time. Just like most of your comic companies have started selling toys and stuff too.
According to Reuters, GameStop shareholders recently approved an increase in the number of shares the company may issue, giving it additional flexibility to finance the transaction. Cohen has also promised to invest $500 million of his own money. Nevertheless, questions remain about how GameStop, currently valued at approximately $10 billion, could afford a company worth nearly 5 times as much. That didn't stop AOL from buying Time Warner back in the day.
True.
The proposed financial realized part of a non-binding, highly confident letter from TD Securities regarding up to $20 billion in debt financing. Cohen insists that multiple parties are interested in financing the transaction. When asked whether he would increase the offer, he responded, "I'm not going to negotiate against myself. Physical games are totally irrelevant." Oh, go ahead.
They do realize that eBay sells a lot more than just games.
Yes, that's diversifying. You understand that GameStop is going to be out of business if they don't start diversifying and buying into other companies, because we've just been spending this whole thing talking about how physical media is going away. GameStop will not have anything to sell.
So they would shut down their shops at some point and focus entirely on eBay.
Exactly.
Recent developments at
e-commerce business.
It's harder. It's easier to acquire someone else's.
Yes, but if GameStop actually does acquire eBay, and they don't, they do one of two things. They either make a bunch of changes that the sellers aren't happy with, or the buyers aren't happy with, or they don't,
they'll do both.
Make things better, because right now people are not happy with eBay.
Right.
They're going to lose buyers and sellers, and they'll still be in the same predicament.
Well, and therein lies the potential, right? And also the potential problem. You buy into a company like this if you are intelligent, if you think this through, and if you pay attention to the landscape, you go, I see actual problems that we can improve. And then you capitalize on that. You can improve the business. If that doesn't happen and they make it worse, well, they can still sit there and say, we're still the biggest game in town. Where are you going to go? What is your option, if not eBay?
Dude, listen to this. GameStop's attempted hostile takeover of eBay comes as Sony reportedly plans to stop producing physical PlayStation games in 2028. Recent developments at Microsoft suggest that Xbox is moving in a similar direction. Additionally, Grand Theft Auto 6, one of the most highly anticipated games of all time, is launching exclusively as a digital release. Such a dramatic shift in how games are sold would once have represented an existential threat to the retailer. Cohen now claims it does not matter. It doesn't matter at all, Cohen told Bloomberg. Software, it mattered in the past. Software today makes up less than 12% of the business, and collectibles makes up over half the business, so it's totally irrelevant. Whoa. Okay. Well, I don't know if he's just spinning BS or...
No, I mean, it's very draconian, but it's hard to argue that he's wrong. I mean, he's saying the quiet part out loud, really. He's just talking reality. You don't have to like it, but it's kind of true.
Samuel Proctor says, physical media is going away from mainstream companies, but people do still love physical media. Either more boutique labels pop up, or it's time to open up the high seas even more. Yeah. I don't know what to say, because we've had boutique labels on consoles, but there was always a means for them to release the physical media. But if these consoles at least come out without disc drives, they can't release physical discs on them. That's the big worry. They won't even have the drives for you to play the game on. They'll probably still make games on Nintendo, because Nintendo hasn't gotten rid of their physical media yet. But again, I've repeated this, they're technically not a console, they're portable. I guess, here's another thing that I don't understand. It sounds like they're ready to just give up on the games altogether, and when will Best Buy and Target and other places decide to stop selling games as well? Except for maybe
they're gonna base it on what's moving on their shelves, and if they have stuff sitting on their shelves not selling, that's when they'll stop ordering it. But it's again, this is just them dealing with the reality they're seeing. It's going back to what Nate was talking about earlier, about how one thing begets the next, and it becomes a downhill spiral. It's not any one person involved here wanting this to happen. It's just dealing with the reality of the fact. Look, Netter and I stopped watching television a long time ago. Why? Because they weren't putting out anything we were interested in, that wasn't holding our interest, and we found things that we were more interested in. It's just the reality. Now terrestrial television is clearly dying. Now streaming is, well, what happens to that is still up in the air. But you know, you just have to deal with reality.
Do you think? Yeah, Xbox has already been barely selling physical movies and games for a decade. They've been terrible with movies. They got rid of their movies. They got rid of their CDs. Oddly enough, they sell vinyl records though. Anyway, it's like we're in a time machine. What did I want to tell you though about? I had one more thing I want to mention. This Grand Theft Auto getting released on in an empty case. I think this is
Yes.
a litmus test to see if people are just going to go to the store and buy the case with the code, or if they're just going to buy it directly from the storefront online. Which will they do? And I think if no one goes out to buy the code in the box, I think that'll be part of me almost thinks that maybe Xbox and PlayStation went to Take Two and said, hey, why don't you just put a code in the box and we'll pay you some extra money and we'll see which sells more. Because I think they just want to I don't think they want to do codes in boxes in retail outlets. I think they just want to get rid of it all.
And all that means is that it's going to be one less revenue source for the stores, which is pretty crappy too. So anything we could do to make sure that we put people out of work, that's what we want to do apparently in this economy.
Star Wars toy maker Hasbro announces Nintendo partnership. This is like the world's finest, DC Comics, Batman, Superman, or maybe not.
Well, I like how they say Star Wars toy maker, and the announcement. We didn't get too much into this, but the announcements coming out of San Diego Comic-Con have actually had some of the toy channels starting to go, I wonder if Hasbro is starting to get cold feet about their partnership with Star Wars. Especially after The Mandalorian didn't do so well.
Maybe. Hasbro plans to unveil 3 6-inch figures during San Diego Comic-Con, which from July 23rd to July 28th. Company did not reveal which characters will receive figures, but Link, Princess Zelda, and Ganondorf appear to be the most likely candidates. Hasbro looks beyond Star Wars. Time of the announcement is notable. Hasbro has a long history with Star Wars. However, this summer, Mandalorian and Grogu significantly underperformed at the box office. Meanwhile, Nintendo Illumination Super Mario Galaxy movie became one of the year's biggest success stories. With Sony's live-action Legend of Zelda film set to theaters in April 2027, Hasbro appears to be looking for popular properties capable of moving merchandise. I think they're going to test it out with the figures from the games, but I think what they want to do is, I think they want to see if this movie is going to be a big, like, action-adventure hit that they can make a line of figures based on. I think
it is smart speculation on their part, I think.
Yeah. Because I think this movie will do well. Legend of Zelda is very popular, and there's no reason the movie shouldn't be good. We'll just have to wait and see. I did like what the director said behind the scenes of what he's trying to do. So
yeah.
But he says, by combining Nintendo's iconic storytelling with Hasbro's leadership in action and roleplay, we're delivering toys that invite fans to play, explore, and forge their own epic adventures. Just don't do a D&D module, please. I've spoken too soon. That's going to happen. They'll have a high rule. They'll have a high roll campaign for D&D.
Right.
Which will be ironic because just
for a lot of reasons, yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to spend too much more time because we got to move along. Sorry.
Yeah.
Actually, anything else to say on this though?
No.
Do you think Star Wars is the seller it used to be?
Not at all. I can tell you, absolutely not. The numbers support that. It's not.
I did want to mention this briefly. This is William Shatner and daughter Melanie revealed they had stage 4 cancer at the same time.
Wow, yeah.
This was kind of a touching story. They kept it under wraps.
Yeah.
Because I think they're both in remission now. But William Shatner and his 61-year-old daughter revealed this week that 2 of them had battled cancer at the same time several years ago. Melanie Shatner-Gresh first discovered her cancer 4 years ago when she woke up in the middle of the night and felt a lump on her breast she thought might be a bug bite. She told People magazine that she decided to have it checked out despite a mammogram not finding anything just 5 months earlier. Although the technician didn't find anything during the scan the next day, something pushed me back and said, no, I have to have it rechecked. She put the one exactly where I put my finger and under her breath said, now I would have missed that. Good for her for taking this seriously. Yeah. But Gretch is a mother of 2 daughters she shares with her husband, Joel Gretch. Gretch said her father told her not to worry about the medical costs and to send him the bills. Well, I guess he could take care of that. Then you made me laugh so hard I was still seeing to the doctor a year later. She added, you said You've got to get well. We're going to be in the poorhouse. That was Shatner. He must have sent an interview. Chemo was the most physically draining, and the radiation found so emotionally draining, she admitted. And just as she was ending the end of her treatments, a lump appeared on her dad's cheek.
Wow.
He said a family doctor told him it was just a blocked salivary gland. That was nothing to worry about. The doctor whose advice he asked while they were on horseback riding advised him to get it removed. He placed his hands on my cheeks and said, with love in his voice, "You better get this out," Shatner explained. In June 2020, Shatner was diagnosed with stage 4 malignant melanoma that had spread to his lungs and brains. "I remember vividly thinking I don't have the strength to take care of myself and lose my father at the same time," Gretsch admitted. Shatner was more upbeat. "They said, you got cancer. If you came in later, you would have been dead. See, that's my life. I think the universe is taking care of me." The 95-year-old had the tumor removed and underwent 2 years of immunotherapy. He wouldn't stop his life, his daughter told People. He just kept working and moving forward. When he was at home, Joel and I would bring dinner to him and watch movies. We just made sure that he's not alone. Shatner added, "We got the perfect doctors for her cancer and my cancer." The Star Trek actor who was the oldest man in space when he went up to Blue Origin rocket had stayed busy with 2 books and 2 records, all expected to come out next year. "I'm healthier now than I've been in years," Shatner said. "The brain is like a muscle. It feeds on activity." Near the end of 2024, both were declared cancer-free.
Nice.
So, I thought this was a nice story.
That's amazing. That's a great story. How do you get stage 4 cancer and fight it and end up in remission? 40 years ago...
It doesn't happen a lot.
40 years ago, you'd say, no, absolute death sentence. And here you got it twice in one family. That's amazing.
And for an elder man, too.
Yeah.
That is a miracle in itself, because a lot of elderly people don't have what it takes to be able to fight it.
Yep.
Yeah. It's tough, but good on Shatner and his daughter. I'm glad they're doing better. You can't kill Kirk. Yeah, man, I'm telling you. Except you can fall off a bridge. I'm sorry. That was
and yet they still managed to bring him back, though.
They did. They had that book, The Return. I remember that. Yes. Yeah.
And even in the 3rd season of Picard, they brought him back. You know.
Oh, really? No.
Well, didn't bring him back literally, but they apparently still had his body, and it implied that there was the possibility of bringing him back at some point.
Well, you recall in one of the Star Trek movies, he said to Spock, "I knew I wasn't going to die here because I've always known I was going to die alone."
Yeah.
And I was never alone.
And everyone always said, and he wasn't alone on that bridge, even though it wasn't any of his original friends.
Yes.
Anyway.
Thank you, God. My dad, too, please. Yes, please keep Lynn Green's father in your prayers.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. And here we have... oh, wait, no. Hold on. Cancel. I don't know what I just did there. Okay. Okay, never mind. I'm just going to leave that weird thing on my screen until we're done. Okay, I'll just move you off to the side. Something about a Google request. All right. Anyway, Count Jim Henson's Count Chocula. What is going on here, Troy?
Well, it looks like a Muppet version of Count Chocula, so I'm with you there.
Yeah, General Mills Monster Cereal turned 55 this Halloween, and Count Chocula, Boo Berry, and Frankenberry are celebrating accordingly with an encore collab with Jim Henson Company. The iconic cereals are returning with newly designed packaging and the reimagined puppets created by the Jim Henson Company, first introduced last year. This time, fans can flip over each box and create their own puppet. The limited edition collection of monster cereals will be available to retailers nationwide this month. Superfans can score a limited edition Fuzzy Count Dracula cereal box designed to replicate the fleece-like texture of puppets, available exclusively on Walmart.com for $7.76 starting October 1st. For 55 years, the monsters have brought us a smile and a little thrill to cereal bowls, said Megan Brooks, business unit director of family favorite cereal at General Mills. Fans love Count Chocula, Boo Berry, and Frankenberry reimagined through the Jim Henson Company's creativity last year, so we're excited to team up again to create fresh new packaging designs that celebrate the characters and bring even more Halloween fun to store shelves. What do you think, huh?
It's kind of cool. I mean,
I missed the story last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they work as Muppets, don't you?
I do. I think this actually makes sense. I'm surprised it took this long, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So that's kind of... $7.76. Yes, but it might come with an actual felt, or maybe it's an actual puppet on the box. I don't know. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm not even sure I can really conceptualize what they're getting at with this, but I'll be interested to see how it turns out.
I think you could turn the cardboard box into a puppet. Also, that's what I was
That's
looking
what
at
it
online.
seems like they're saying,
Yeah.
but I can't even imagine what that. If it's anything like the things that I remember from the cereal boxes from when I was a kid, the hype and the way it actually plays out are probably going to be two very different things.
But anyway, that is it for tonight. I'm shocked we got through all those stories. I didn't think it was going to happen. So
I had no doubt. I mean, you kept me on topic, so that helped a lot.
so we have, I believe, a reserve seats coming up. Is that right?
Yep. And on my channel, you will be forwarded directly. Netter, the link is in the private chat, so you're already set too. And guys, help us get Aged Boomer to 500 subscribers so that he can forward you to various streams as well. We don't want anybody to be left out.
No one's gonna be left behind.
So let's not leave Aged Boomer behind on his ability to bring you all the bells and whistles.
Thank you. I got a new mic too.
Yeah, that's really good. See, even without being monetized, he is doing the best that he can to bring you the best quality in sound.
There we go. Oh, and we do want to do. Let's do a Shiba Dog, and then we're gonna go to credits right after. All right? How's that sound?
Shiva Dog, it's a farty fox.
Shimmy left, shimmy right, farty fox is dancing tonight. Hearts go popping out his bum, wiggle, wiggle, here they come. Come. Cute as can be with a fluffy tail sway, spreading love in the silliest way. Farty fox, you're the best. Boop, 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 you're simply the cutest mess.
Thanks so much, Lady Mist, over on Netter's channel, encouraging her. She knows how much she enjoys that.
Y'all have a great night. Okay.
Take care, everyone. The outro.
I'm about to. Yeah. Sorry. I was late.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Oh.
Sorry about that. That was my fault. I guess I didn't upload it the way I
It's
should have.
okay. Because
Never
I'm
mind. We'll just end it and get you over to deleted. No.
I can do the song. All right. Y'all have a good week, man. Okay. All right.
Take care. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye. I'm gonna hit the end.